So, good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about the construction and working of Pelton turbine. So, in this slide, we can see the arrangement of the Pelton turbine. So, generally, they are used for high heads and low discharges. And here, the shaft of the turbine is arranged in horizontal position. So therefore, the shaft of the generator must be also arranged in horizontal position. So therefore, the generator will be placed behind the turbine. So therefore, when the turbine is in running condition, initially the turbine will be converting fluid energy into mechanical energy of the shaft, and finally the generator will be converting mechanical energy of the shaft into electrical energy. So this is the general arrangement of a turbine that is coupled with the generator. And the second component, that is called as a runner. So this is a rotating wheel is mounted on the shaft of the turbine. So that is called as a runner, and a number of blades are fitted around the periphery of the runner. They are called as runner blades or buckets of the Pelton turbine. So therefore, when water is striking the blades of the runner, the entire assembly will begin to rotate in a given direction. That means in this figure, water is supplied from the left-hand side of the turbine. So therefore, the runner will have a tendency to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So as long as the turbine is in a running condition, all these items, the shaft of the turbine, the runner of the turbine, and blades fitted to the runner, so the entire assembly will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So during this period, the runner will be converting the kinetic energy of the liquid into mechanical energy of the shaft. So this is the main function of the runner. This is the most important component of the turbine. And finally, a casing is put around the periphery of the runner. So that is called as a turbine casing. So casing is very essential for all the machines. Like we have motor casing, generator casing, engine casing. Similarly, a casing is also required for this machine. So therefore, this is called as a turbine casing. So this casing, as I've already told you, this casing is put around the periphery of the runner. So it will be receiving the quantity of water that is coming out of the runner, and finally it will be discharging the same quantity of water onto the tail race. So this is the main function of this casing, so generally called as a turbine casing. And secondly, we can see the arrangement of a nozzle. So this nozzle is fitted to the end of the pipeline, that is outlet of the pipeline. So this is meant for converting the entire pressure energy of the liquid into kinetic energy of the liquid. So the kinetic energy of the liquid that is coming out of the nozzle will be maximum, and this is used for rotating the runner in anti-clockwise direction. So this is the main purpose of the nozzle. And finally, an element is arranged inside the nozzle. So that is called as a sphere mechanism. So we can see the arrangement of the sphere and the sphere rod that is arranged inside the nozzle. So the sphere will be moving in forward and backward direction, and thereby it will be controlling the quantity of water that is entering the runner. That means when the load on the turbine increases, it requires more quantity of water. So therefore, the sphere will be moving in reverse direction, and it will be supplying more quantity of water onto the blades of the runner. Similarly, when the load on the turbine decreases, it requires a less quantity of water. So therefore, the sphere will be moving in forward direction, and it will be sending less quantity of water onto the blades of the runner. So controlling of water is very, very essential according to the load acting on the turbine. So for this purpose, a governor is used for governor has to be used for controlling the quantity of water. So this governor is used for operating the sphere in forward and backward directions. And lastly, one more element is fitted to the bottom of the nozzle. So that is called as a deflector. So this deflector will be moving in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. So while moving in anti-clockwise direction, it will be preventing more quantity of water from entering the turbine, and by moving in clockwise direction, by moving in clockwise direction or by moving in downward direction, it will be sending more quantity of water. So apart from sphere mechanism, this deflector can be also used for controlling the quantity of water that is entering the turbine. And also this will be deflecting the excess quantity of water onto the tail race, unwanted quantity of water onto the tail race. So therefore, it is called as a deflector. So these are the, various components of the Pelton turbine. And finally, we can see one more nozzle that is arranged on the right-hand side of the machine, that's called as a brake nozzle. So as the name itself implies, it is used for stopping the operation of the turbine. So for stopping the operation of the turbine, this nozzle, this brake nozzle will be supplying water in opposite direction. So therefore, automatically the runner will be coming to static position. So these are the various components, and this is about the construction and working of the Pelton turbine. And finally, as I've already told you, the shaft of this Pelton turbine is held in horizontal position. So that's why they are called as horizontal shaft turbines. And secondly, maximum number of blades are fitted to the runner. So therefore, this runner will be taking maximum amount of energy that is present in the liquid, and therefore it requires little quantity of water. It requires less quantity of water for power generation. And secondly, because of maximum number of blades, this is a heavy machine, so therefore it will be operating at low speeds. So the speed of this runner or turbine, whatever you call it, it will be around 60 RPM only. So therefore they are called as low speed turbines. And additionally, as shown in the figure, water will be striking the blades of the runner in a tangential direction, as shown in the figure. So therefore, it is also called as a tangential flow turbine. And lastly, this nozzle will be converting the entire pressure energy into kinetic energy of the liquid. That means the velocity of the liquid that is striking the runner blades will be maximum. So water will be striking the blades with a maximum amount of force. So therefore, or with a maximum amount of velocity. Therefore, it is called as an impulse turbine. The water is striking the blades with the maximum amount of force. It's called as impulse turbine. The velocity of the water is maximum. Velocity of the water striking the blades is maximum. Therefore, it is also called as a velocity turbine. So here, the nozzle is very, very essential for operating the machine. Also, in other words, it's very, very essential for raising the, kinetic energy of the liquid. So water will be striking the runner blades with the maximum amount of velocity and minimum amount of pressure. That means the velocity of the liquid will be maximum, but the pressure of the liquid which is striking the blades will be equivalent to atmospheric pressure. That is zero pressure. So it will be striking with maximum velocity and zero pressure. And similarly, water which is coming out of the runner will be also having zero pressure. That means water will be entering the runner at atmospheric pressure, and also it will be leaving the runner at atmospheric pressure. So the entire operation will be taking place at a constant pressure. So therefore, it is also called as a constant pressure turbine. So these are the different names given to this machine. It's operating at a low speed. It's called as a low speed turbine. It requires maximum energy. It's a high head turbine. It requires less quantity of water. So it's a low discharge turbine. So it will be taking maximum amount of kinetic energy. So it is called as a velocity turbine. So the pressure of the liquid will be equivalent to atmospheric pressure, that will be constant. So therefore, it can be also called as constant pressure turbine. And above all, the shaft of the turbine is held, has to be arranged in horizontal position. So that's why it is also called as a horizontal shaft turbine. So these are the different names given to the machine, and this is about the construction and working of the Pelton turbine. Now, let us make a quick review of the various components. So, components of the turbine, the shaft of the turbine, runner of the turbine, runner buckets. So, all these things are mentioned. And also, the definition of the turbine is given in this slide. So, naturally, it's used for converting the kinetic energy of the liquid into mechanical energy of the shaft. So that is given in the form of a definition. And as discussed earlier, it is used for high heads and low discharges. That means it will be taking maximum amount of energy present in the liquid. So therefore it's called as high head turbine. So that's why it will be taking less quantity of water. So it is also called as a low discharge turbine. So now we are making the review of the components which we have seen in the diagram. So we have to talk about the shaft of the turbine. So it is held in horizontal position. So the shaft of the turbine is connected to the shaft of the generator. And as told earlier, this will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Water is supplied from the left side of the turbine. So naturally, the runner will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction. And coming to the energy conversion, initially the turbine will be converting the kinetic energy of the liquid into mechanical energy of the shaft. And finally, the generator will be converting mechanical energy of the shaft into electrical energy. So we can see some information regarding the runner of the machine. So it is a rotating disc, as I've already told you. It's a rotating element that is mounted on the shaft of the turbine. So therefore, both the items will be rotating in the same direction, and a number of blades are fitted to the periphery of the runner. So water will be striking the blades of the runner. So therefore, the runner will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction. And during this period, it will be converting the kinetic energy of the liquid into mechanical energy of the shaft. So this is about the arrangement of the runner. So now we can see some information regarding the casing of the turbine. So casing is put around the periphery of the runner. So it will be receiving water coming out of the runner, and it will be guiding onto the tail race. And as I've already told you, water will be having maximum amount of kinetic energy. It will be scattering in all directions. So therefore, for preventing all these problems, so this casing is very, very essential. So it will be receiving water that is coming out of the runner, and also it will be discharging the same quantity of water onto the tail race. And we have to talk about we have already talked about the arrangement of the nozzle. So this nozzle is fitted to the outlet of the pipeline. So it is used for conveying water from the reservoir onto the buckets of the runner. So as told earlier, So this nozzle will be converting, or it will be raising the kinetic energy of the liquid. That is, it is converting the entire pressure energy into kinetic energy of the liquid. So therefore, the water, the liquid that is coming out of the nozzle will be having maximum amount of kinetic energy and minimum amount of pressure energy, that is referred to as atmospheric pressure. And also we have talked about the spear mechanism. So this is arranged inside the nozzle for controlling the quantity of water that is entering the runner according to the load requirements. And we have to use a governor. Governor is essential for moving the spear in to and fro directions. So when the spear moves in forward direction, naturally it will be sending less quantity of water. And when the spear moves in reverse direction, it will be sending more quantity of water. So when the load on the turbine increases, it will be sending more quantity of water. When the load on the turbine decreases, it will be sending less quantity of water. So spear rod, so all these things put together, it's referred to as a spear mechanism. And we have also talked about this deflector. So deflector is fitted below the nozzle. It is one more element that is controlled by the same governor. It's fitted below the nozzle. So the deflector will be moving in upward and downward directions. So the governor, the same governor will be operating the deflector in the upward and downward directions. So if it moves in upward, while moving in the upward direction, it will be sending less quantity of water. While moving in downward direction, it will be sending more quantity of water. And similarly, it is meant for deflecting the unwanted quantity of water or excess quantity of water directly onto the tail race. So therefore, it is referred to as a deflector. So we have two elements, spear mechanism, that is the first arrangement, and deflector mechanism, the second arrangement. So both these elements very, very essential for controlling the quantity of water that is entering the turbine. So lastly, we have to discuss about the brake nozzle, already discussed earlier. So as the name itself implies, it is used for stopping the runner. So therefore, it will be supplying towards the end of the operation. It will be supplying water in opposite direction. So therefore, automatically the runner will be coming to a static position. So two nozzles, we are using two nozzles. We have to use two nozzles are required for, for controlling the Pelton turbine. So the first nozzle for starting the operation of the machine, and it's brake nozzle for stopping the operation of the machine. So friends, this is about the construction and working of the Pelton turbine. So we have noted down the figure of the Pelton turbine. We have seen the arrangement of the various components. We have noted down the functions, purpose of all these items. essentially used for operating the machine or for operating the turbine. So with this, we are closing the session. So friends, thank you all for watching this video lesson. Thank you very much.